Welcome back to another Habs Weekly Report with the hockey coach, Coach Francis, directly from the beautiful country of Thailand on amazing, great Sunday night, October 6th, 2024. That's where we are. This is the beginning of the NHL season 2024-2025. Yes, I know Devils play, Buffaloes play, but this week, this is where we wait for all summer for the Montreal Canadiens fans. And this is the place to be Sunday night at the Hockey Nation, App Nation, to talking about your favorite team, the Montreal Canadiens. Tonight we're going to review a bit the overview, the camp of the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to talk about the preview week for the Montreal Canadiens, prospect for the Montreal Canadiens, and many other news around the NHL, of course, at the beginning of the show. Finally, the subject of the night. Enfin, in French, it's over. The training camp for the Montreal Canadiens. And we're going to talk about, of course, you watched my video of the day. It was about a training camp pointless. Interesting, coach. What are you talking about? But that's what we got to go and talk about the Montreal Canadiens tonight at the show. We'll be back on Monday night. Tomorrow night, we'll go to an overview of the season 2024-2025 with some prediction and a little bit more difference. Not only he's going to win the Stanley Cup, but we're going to go which coach is going to be fired the first one. Do we have a GM is going to be fired this year? Who is going to be the first call up for the Montreal Canadiens? We have some kind of bold prediction about the NHL. We're going to talk about the roster of the Montreal Canadiens going to be confirmed tomorrow. So tomorrow night, that's going to be focusing. And Tuesday night, this is the show of the year. Tuesday night. Why? Because now you're going to give us all the prediction of everything about the Montreal Canadiens Tuesday night, then Wednesday, Thursday, play-by-play game, Montreal, Toronto, Montreal, Boston, and then Friday, we'll see. Maybe a day off, or maybe talking about the Montreal Canadiens, the first two games, and then Saturday, we're going to talk about another third game, play-by-play, Montreal again, Ottawa. And Sunday, next week, again, we will be back for another weekly report, but every Sunday night, he is the man of the men, the legend, the GOAT, and without him inside the weekly report, the show would not be the same. He sit at home directly in the cabin, maybe upstairs, maybe downstairs, but one thing we know, he's always show up with smile, with some great knowledge about the Montreal Canadiens and the NHL. That's the reason he is the co-host of the Hockey Nation and the weekly report. Ladies and gentlemen, let's further ado. Welcome back. He's sit in the house, Mr. Enortap. Welcome.
Hello, Coach. Hello, Hockey Nation. Coach, are you ready? Are you ready for the start of the season?
You know, they have a wave of negativity or dark in the last couple of days with cloud around the Montreal Canadiens, but now everything is at zero. That's the good news about everything. Now everything restarts, so now it's going to be a lot of positivity about the Montreal Canadiens. Whatsoever, I have some question for you. Not on the hot seat, not the clash tonight. We're going to take it easy on you tonight, but we're going to talk about different things, what you agree or disagree about that. We have a new things coming from you, Mr. Enortap. Why? Why not? Oh, you don't know yet, but it's coming very soon for you, Mr. Enortap. The new segment of Enortap, why or why not? So before we start, Mr. Enortap, we're going to talk about some people pop up in the chat. We welcome everybody. Thanks for being with us. The first thing, guys, when you go at the events, everywhere you go to the baseball game, hockey game, basketball game, or you go to the bowling, what you have to do, you have to show up with a ticket, and you have to show your ticket. Here's the same thing. The ticket is to click on the likes. If you go to the likes, but now you're going to get in there, and then you can talk more. I'm just kidding. But that would be great if you don't mind to click on the like. That'd be awesome. We have a new usher. Rodwood King is going to be in charge about the new group of the usher, Mr. Enortap. He's on the conversation about maybe to add another one at the back door. But that's something we have to figure out. One of the people will be more into the show. Luciano Graziano is in the house, the moderator of the Hockey Nation show. Sit at home inside of Toronto and waiting for the start of the season with all his prediction. Luciano predict last year the Florida Panthers is going to win the Stanley Cup in October. So I can wait, Mr. Enortap, to hear from him to tell us who's going to be the winner of the Stanley Cup in 2025. Roy sit in Bangkok, downtown in Thailand. Happy Monday morning, Mr. Roy. He rang a lot, Mr. Tap. It's a really, anyway, another subject about that. Claude Richard, the capital d'Ottawa, in the house tonight. Welcome back, Francis Daigle. I don't know what he's thinking about his team on the fantasy. Was the fantasy draft this morning, Mr. Tap? You're part of this with me and Marco Larabé. We did a Zoom. It was very fun to be out together. We have 7 people together. And then Francois Deg is in the fantasy. I don't know if he's happy or not about that outcome. We have Abination, another one in the fantasy. It was number 16. I really didn't pay attention about this pick. I was at that area for me. So
He's
hopefully
got a
he's
good team.
happy about his team because I'm not very happy. But another subject for the time. Kerry Conroyer, the best driver UPS around the world,
Ooh,
Mr. Tap,
BB.
is really back in the house. We miss you, Mr. Gary. Glad to see you. And we have, of course, Mr. Patrick Lawhite. He talk about Araz, Luis Araz, with 2.7 to kick some money at the baseball. I don't know what happened. Do you have a baseball game today, Mr. Tap?
Oh, yes, the playoffs. They've been going on for a while. Right now, I think we still have the Dodgers and Padres going at it.
Who play afternoon? You have two game afternoon. The Phillies was play at some point.
Yeah, the Phillies made. I believe they made a great comeback and won in the ninth inning. They were trailing by quite a bit, but they came back over the Mets
Oh yeah. Okay. I
and
don't
won
know. I
that
thought it
game.
was 1-0 the Phillies at the eighth inning.
No, yeah, I think it was. Trying to remember the score. It was seven
Maybe it was
six
the
to my
game
mind.
in the
Seven
playoff
six.
in 1967. So with Tom Seaver. But that's another
You're
subject.
going back. You're going back a few years.
Phone is in the house. Welcome back. Patrick, welcome. Thanks to be with our Canadian show. Tony DeMarc is in the house. And Martin Besnet. Welcome back, Martin, from Waterloo, I believe. And we have Larry Lavalley. Talk about legend. We
Larry.
talk about Mr. Larry Lavalley. Mr. Tapi. The Sweet K is at the balcony, just waiting to pick it up, and they go straight to Arizona. I don't know when he's leaving, but it's coming very soon for Larry. He's going to join Pierre de Nonville. Pierre de Nonville is already in Arizona. So we have 2 people from Arizona without an NHL team anymore. But it's okay. Don't worry about that. We'll be fine.
We'll
But I
fix it.
think, I think Larry is at Tucson. Tucson.
I think he's just south of Tucson.
I don't think so.
I
He's in
think.
Phoenix, right?
No, no, he's not in Phoenix. No.
Yeah, Abination, me too, is the same thing about that. They are more positive than negative, and the live Michael Edge is on fire. We want to talk about the
He's
Michael
on
Edge.
fire.
So,
Yes.
Mr. Tom, we
Yes.
get around everything in the chat, so everybody is. We just wait for RJ Calabro. RJ really too busy right now with all the update New York and the football high school and the area of the New Jersey. But he's going to be back very soon, Mr. Top. But you have an easy day. And no game in
I
NHL, Mr. Top, today. So,
no,
interesting.
no. That's
I know we have a no
that's
game.
strange.
Nothing happening.
And tomorrow, same thing.
Tomorrow we have a game.
One
The global
one game.
series, the Nashville versus Tampa Bay, I
Oh,
believe.
right.
Right.
Yeah, yeah. I'm forgetting these
So
global games.
I don't know what time is it.
Um.
They gave me CXL, so I don't know what time is it. This. That's interesting. I don't know.
Yeah. I don't know. Not sure.
That's crazy.
7 p.m. I have
7
7
p.m.
p.m. Yeah.
Eastern time.
That's what it says. Yeah.
PM.
That's what it says.
There you go. I
I
don't know.
just looked it up.
This game is not like in Czechia or Germany or Sweden or something like that.
I thought they finished. I thought it was the 2 games between Buffalo and New Jersey that were in Prague, and that was it.
He
I'm
said
not
that
sure
Tony
this is
Marks said the game is canceled. Hurricane watch.
Tampa Bay.
I don't know what's going on.
We shall
Anyhow, Mr.
find
Antap,
out.
we're going to see what happened. The big news, Mr. Antap, we're going to start with NHL that announced a couple of hours ago. Jeremy Swayman get a new contract with the Boston Bruins. They have 64 reasons to sign a contract. They give him now 2 million more reason to figure out everything. And then he accept at 8.25 AAV per year for a contract of 8 years. Great news for for the Boston Bruins fans. Remind the contract of Piquet Subban, like he was on the back burner, everything like that. So, what do you think about overall that contract for the Boston Bruins and for Jeremy Swayman?
Well, if you look at it, I think the contract itself at 8.25 comes in just below or right at Sorokin's numbers, is overall the fifth highest paid goalie in the NHL. So I guess they found that common meeting point, and they couldn't have come any sooner for Boston because they really need Swayman, and Swayman needs to get quickly back into game shape form. So don't expect to see him for a game or two at the beginning, but the numbers, they were close, coach. And so my only concern is not whether they were going to settle this, which they did, obviously, but it's about the feelings afterwards, right? And yeah, money cures a lot of things, but also things come out sometimes in the dispute, and the way it went public wasn't good for either side. We'll see how it plays out in the end, but I'm sure Boston's happy to have settled this.
Yeah, do you think it's a good contract overall for the Nelly or Boston Bruins? Who do you think is the winner?
Uh, I think from the perspective of the as I was saying before, the team and the player, it was damaging in many ways because of things that were said along the way, and accusations that were made, and the way it was played up in the public as well, which stuff like that should have remained private, between the agent and the GM. But overall, I mean, the issue here, coach, is he hasn't put together a full season, right? I mean, the most he's played in a season is 44 games. I think he's obviously ready to undertake, a full season. He's always had a high acumen, and he's always played well under the different situations I've seen. So I don't suspect we're going to see any kind of regression from him. But I thought it was a bit of a steep hill to get like a big jump for the team and the player to get to, when he hasn't played a full year yet. But we'll see. Sometimes you have to lock up your stars, and I think that's why Swayman pushed it to this level. And here you are. Now it's all settled, and we'll see if they can mend the fences, so to speak,
Yeah, if he get the way where he's
the
supposed to play,
playoffs.
right? And Boston Bruins, I think, is a good contract at long term for the Boston Bruins because in the 8 years, Mr. Enortap, going to be on another cap at $1 million, $1.2 million. So
Right.
his contract is going to be maybe not at the top 10 best money there and the next 5 years, after 5 years. So at the end of the day, I think Boston Bruins get a good contract. Like, I think I like what you said. It's like any young players in NHL, they expect to keep him a longer contract, like Sikorsky, Caulfield is key. And I can go with Jack Hughes, Quinn Hughes. You know what I mean? The team think they are the core of the team and they offer a young
Right.
age a longer contract. This is the same situation for Swimmen. And he proved it honestly with number, but I think overall it's going to be a good win both of them. A security for Swimmen,
In
the Boston Bruins. That right now may be high for the salary cap percentage, but I think at long term it's going to be perfectly great.
in all fairness, coach, I mean, you see this. This is a trend in the NHL. When a team has its stars that they believe will be with the organization a long period of time, they're obviously trying to sign them up for the full extent, the 8-year contracts, which I totally understand. But they're also taking a big gamble because you don't know if you're gambling on the fact that they'll reach the ceiling that you project them to, and a lot of times they do, but there's the odd times that they don't. And when you have a contract for 8 years, it can really tie up an organization over an extended growth process. So I wish. they would sort of divide it, maybe like go, you have to be in the NHL a certain number of years before you can even be considered for a 8-year contract. And I guess the players, from their perspective, they're trying to capitalize on an extra contract along the way because they'll only be maybe 27, 28, 29 at the most. So they can bank in, if they have 8 good years, they can bank in on another big contract later on. But it's a big gamble for the organizations.
Yep. Good thing, but the will be interesting. Keith, welcome in the house. Everybody, don't forget to click on the likes. I think for me, it will be the outcome of the Boston Bruins for the at the end of the year. With it's a team. It's not like considered the top 10, I believe now in the NHL.
Yeah.
This the team now is between 12 to 18, in my opinion. And the time will tell us what it look going to look like. I want to share it with you another new players. The Vancouver Canucks signed Niels Hoglander. $3 million at 3 years, scored 24 goals last season, 36 points, 40 overall pick. Uh, is going to start his fourth season. He have a good year for the first time. Compared is the first 3 years. He have a good start in NHL. He dropped a second year.
Yeah.
He bounced back under Rick Tocchet, 24 goals. What do you think about that contract?
Well, I think most of it is based on the fact that, like last year, I think he had career highs with the 24 goals and
Yep.
36 points that you have there. I mean, I think his personal best before that was in the teens, and it wasn't very good for a rookie opening season. But he projects. I think for Vancouver, he projects to be probably, I would say, on the third line. Even though last year he spent some time together with both JT Miller and Brock Besser, so at least he's showing that he has that flexibility. If in a pinch, if he has to go to that line, he can do it. But I think for the most part, he is a third liner, and he's a very good plugger. It's not a bad contract for what they're getting.
All right, sound good. The last news in NHL, guys, because this is the day today and tomorrow. A lot are going to have a lot of players on the waiver for many team. And today was a couple in name I want to mention to you, and I want to ask the people is something Montreal should looking for. I think the big name it was Pierre Egval for the New York Canadiens, Mr. Tap. That's happening sometime for open up more money on the salary cap, and then they call back. No, no, but I don't think so. Someone would pick Pierre Edouard, the contract, 5, 6 years with the New York Canadiens
Yeah,
anyway. But that's the biggest name on the waiver. There are many. Ranzuski. I can go the way. I don't want to get there, but I have two players I want to pay attention. It's Jacob Pelletier and Raphael Lavoie. Both names was mentioned in the last couple of months, maybe 1 year, about the rumor between the Montreal Canadiens and Edmonton Oilers. Two different players. Where I'm talking about different players. One is small, and one is big. They never reached their full potential in NHL. And at some point, the team they have no choice to put them on the waiver, and that's the case for both of them. By the way, Montreal ex-players Jesse Allen was also removed from the on the waiver from the Tampa Bay Lightning, but that's
right.
a player I don't think so Montreal is looking for. Is it one of the two? Both of them should not interested can use, or is it something maybe Montreal should looking for?
I don't think they're going to look in this direction, to be totally honest, at least in my opinion. Although, in all fairness, I mean, Pelletier, has a very promising ceiling. I'm not sure he's really been given the opportunity or the players to play with to show that. Um, and that part, I mean, I could see somebody possibly taking a chance and picking him up. With Savoie, I see he'll probably pass the waivers. I don't see anybody really going
And
after him, to be honest.
26 said Columbus could be take Pulsey.
Well, if they're still behind below the bottom of the salary cap, so they may, because they have some holes that they need to fill in, and it wouldn't be a bad pick for them. I think that would suit them very well. And there's the promise that obviously he can perform at the level that he was expected to. So it wouldn't be a bad move for Columbus.
Yeah, it will be interesting. I know, of course, they have an exception from the NHL for the salary cap for the Columbus Blue Jacket. For me, Petsy, obviously, we have so many 5'9", 5'10", 5'8",
Yeah,
RHP, Caulfield, Gallagher. I think that's enough. Obviously, Petsy could be better to other players we already have. I think that's, with our HPs, maybe questionable
yeah.
to compare one of the two. But on the another side, Savoy brings 6'4", 215. I think at the end of the day, both them could help in the Laval Rocket. But um,
Possibly.
you know, would be interesting if Montreal. I think if I had a choice, I would target him more Savoy. I think Savoy is a fit where Montreal Canadiens don't have. Can he reach his expectation under Martin Saint Louis and Nicolas and all the staff, all the player development, Park Biron, Alex Burrows, and I can go the way like that. Um, but the time will tell us if ever Savoy could be draft where Montreal is number 5 in Enortap um,
On the waiver. Yeah.
on the waiver. So, but it will be interesting whether Montreal is going to do or not. And I like the side, but I'm not sure it will be the very thing. Enortap, that's what the
So,
people are here. They want to talk about the training camp. And we're going to see the overview. We're not going to jump in right away with the disappointment or impressed by the players, everything like that, Mr. Hunter. But the overview, many of you already know if you watch my video today about the fact like waste of the time, pointless. I don't only blame the Montreal Canadiens. You have so many things we can talk with every direction. So it'll be a very good subject for the first 5-10 minutes. Then I'm going to go a little bit more deeper about the projection of roster, performance of front players. So I'm going to ask a question about that. But and your point of view from your eyes, from what you saw, and from day one all the way to the end, on many directions you can bring to us. This is now you're on the floor, Mr. Tap, and the fans are all there listening you to see are going to be agree or disagree about the overview of the Montreal Canadiens training camp.
well, Coach, this time I knew you were going to throw some hot issues at me today.
It
So
was
a couple
this
things.
is like
A
you
couple
know when you
things. Number
prepare a
one,
hot meal, right? You have to make some kind of preparation, everything like that. So I'm just prepared. You know, just you are right now the
yeah,
training camp. That's what you are right
no
now.
problem. But you see, I brought my wolf pack mentality
Oh, you
T-shirt
have the
today,
whole pack already set up. I like that one, Mr.
and
Tap.
and you were. I know you were gonna throw some heat my way, so I brought my fire extinguisher with me. So I'm ready.
You
And
look like you see.
let's
I go
go.
slowly because Luciano told me don't go too hard on in our tab this week. I said okay, I'm going to be calm tonight. Tonight.
No problem. Well, here's the thing. With Montreal, there were some things that we obviously wanted to see. And from a perspective of expectations, I thought we got a very good look at Hudson and exactly what he can do. We saw that Kapanen was very consistent as well. I mean, his last game was just average, I would say, but the previous games that he played, he's quite solid. I thought that the goaltending situation, with the exception of the last game, again, was not bad. I thought Dobesh was really impressive and shows that he'll be the first call up if they need him at the major league level. Other players that kind of stood out for me, I mean, the guys that obviously were fighting for a position, guys like Alex Barre-Boulet had a good camp. Um, I thought Joshua Roy was a bit quiet, but he never hurt the team. To be totally fair, he never hurt the team in terms of his play.
Until the
And
last
he's
game.
that until the last game, right? That last game, I kind of erased it. There weren't too many too many stars emerging from that, with the exception of maybe the goal scorers. But that was about it. It was. We didn't see much of the first line, but that's to be expected. I think we know what we get from there. Um, I thought Gallagher looked decent to me. I thought he showed some extra pep in his skating, and again was interesting. From a disappointment perspective, or maybe we should get into the defense, because I thought Struble was also very, very solid for us. I thought from a different perspective, we saw the value, and I know this is going to raise a lot of questions here. I saw the value that a Jack Eye brings to the team. Yes, you can make arguments. Well, sometimes he hurt the team because of what he did, but you know what? There's a lot of constant talk right now about Montreal even possibly acquiring somebody to help in that category, in terms of making the team a little bit more with an edge to them, and not always necessarily relying on Jack Eye, who I agree from a defensive perspective would hurt you every time he's off the ice, because now you shorten your bench when it comes to your defenders. Uh, but I mean, somebody standing up for your team, I think that's exactly what you need, and that message was sent loud and clear in my eyes. Anderson disappeared again. I don't know. I was expecting a little bit more out of Anderson, and maybe when the season starts, we'll see him sort of put in it a little bit more with gusto in his game. But that was disappointing. Dvorak, I thought, was half decent. Like he did his job, and that's the kind of player he is. You can't expect great things out of Dvorak, but you're also not going to be hurt from him. Like he's going to win his share of faceoffs. He's going to score the odd goal here and there at key times. He's going to kill penalties, um, and that's pretty much a summary of all pretty much all the players in my eyes, and how they did, whether they were disappointments or really impressed.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. A lot of comments left and right. For some people talk already about Mr. Enortap. Of course, we have to go that way, Mr. Enortap, if you don't mind. Come on! No, not this one, Mr. Enortap. Apologize. On this one, he's supposed to be there.
Johnny
Here we
Golden.
go. We're back in the house, Johnny. Welcome with Gal. We have Kenneth is in the house. Slick is in the house. For you is in the house, Mr. Tap. Welcome, everybody. Thank you to be
Welcome,
part of
Paul.
the show tonight. Don't forget, please, to click on the like. If you don't want to be great. Overview of the Montreal Canadiens camp. First of all, Ursa said it's not a waste of time to evaluate players. How can you evaluate players? 4, and maybe 5 of the 6 game. Most of the team play with American Hockey League. Like,
It depends who you want to evaluate. I don't think it's there to evaluate, like, let's say, their first line or their key defenseman. It's there to evaluate the prospects. It's there to evaluate the rookies. It's there to evaluate, you know, maybe goaltending to a certain degree. It's not there. I don't think it having 6 games is really a waste in my eyes, because I think you can get the gist of what's happening within 3, maximum 4 games. If you want to add more games to the season, that's fine. If you're worried about revenues, but I think we saw enough after a while, and the way it unfolded, Coach, with a lot of injuries, and I'm not talking just Montreal. You look around the league, and you see exactly that. I don't blame coaches for sitting down their star players. They're saying, okay, well, we'll worry about things when the season begins, and I'm sure that they'll be able to turn on the engines when they have to. But
I'll give you an
for now,
example. All right, we'll
yeah,
give you an example. Oliver Kapanen have a good camp
yeah,
or a bad camp.
he had a good camp.
Okay. Now Kapanen, how many games he play?
3,
No, he play more.
4, maybe 4. Yeah, you
Yeah,
might be right
four or
because
five, Mr. Enortap.
he played consistently at the end. Yeah,
Okay.
with
How many
the
times
injury.
he play again only NHL players?
On the same team, you mean, or
During
opposing?
the preseason, how many times he play against Matthews, Ketchuk, Suzla, Norris, Jack Hughes,
I,
Doug Hamilton, Dawson Mercer?
Twice, I think.
Zero.
Twice, I think. Once.
Zero.
No, I
So
think
my
two
question, Mr.
times.
Tap, how is going to defend against Connor McDavid? How he's going to defend against McKinnon? How he's going to defend against Barzell? How he's going to defend against the NHL? This is how we're going to tell me, oh, he's fine, he's ready to NHL. How he's going to be his strength? How he's going to be strong enough on face-off the last 3 games, 25, 32, and 35 or 25 last game.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
My point of view is this part. If most of the game are dressed up with three-quarter American Hockey League, it's hard to evaluate a players in NHL. It's not the
Yeah,
best way to go
that's
there. So for me, Kapanen, whenever you have a good camp, and yes, you have a good camp, 1 goal, 3 assists for 4 points, I think it is. But at the end of the day, from my opinion, we did not see the real Kapanen face the real wall in NHL. This is what's going to be my concern about Kapanen when he's going to pop up if he marks the Montreal Canadiens. My
mhm.
overview of the camp is one of them. Is the lack of the quality of the players they face the Montreal Canadiens. That's the first thing. The lack of the reps of the first line is my second thing. The Sakaski, the Caulfield, and um, Suzuki. The lack of the time on the between the pipe of the top goaltender, Montebo and Primo. Both of them have 1 game and a half, and maybe Primo is at 2 game with a 2 split game.
Yeah.
That's not good enough to be ready for NHL. Minimum goaltender number 1 have to play 3 games. But Montebo did not get those rensure. Finally, the power play Montreal Canadiens is 0-30. And the training camp, 0-30. I give you right now 5 different things about that. And I did not talk about the composure of the roster for the Montreal Canadiens during the training camp. Like, how many games Kirby Dak play with Alex Newhook together, and maybe the player's going to be there at the training camp? 1 game. How are you going to
Hmm.
fit a chemistry together if they don't play together? This is for me, from my opinion, this training camp is wild. It's strange. It's miss of preparation. I don't know, but it's missing something to be. Hey, we are ready now Wednesday night because my player are get everything they need to be ready to start the season. Is it a new wave or to build a training camp in NHL? I don't know. But if you look about that, this is a lot of red flags for the Montreal Canadiens when you look about it. I did not talk about disappointment and most
Hmm.
shocking. I'm talking about the overview of the camp. This is where I feel Montreal Canadiens are not ready for the beginning of the season. Now, yeah, did you watch all the 30 other camp? No, I did not. I agree with you. I watched a couple of game. I watched a couple of team, but I look more on Montreal Canadiens. I don't know. I never feel like when the season starts, we turn the switch on, and now everything is perfectly great. The pulp is going to work. The line number 1 is going to be good. Everything like that. I think next week we're going to be in a training camp for the Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah, I mean, they're all valid points, Coach. I don't disagree with that. Again, I believe that the preseason's way too long. Realistically, I've said this before. At most, you're looking at maybe 3 to 5, and that's pushing it. 3 to 5 players that you want to really put in game situations and see if they're ready to play at the NHL level. And that goes for any team, not just Montreal. With regards to the first line, yeah, sure, the reps would have been nice, but I don't think they have to worry. I mean, these guys stay in shape all year long. They know exactly. Even when they're playing right now, you also know they're not going to go 100% because they don't want to risk the possibility of an injury. And then, as we saw, they weren't played very much after all. So, what did that do in return? It also affected your special teams, right? Because you don't have the right players that are playing on the power play. You don't have the right players that are playing on your penalty kill. So, yeah, they didn't look very good at all on their power play, but it's something I think that will correct as soon as they have more continuity between the players that are going to be on that first unit.
I'll give you an
I,
example,
I
Mr.
thought
Tap.
I thought 5-on-5, coach, they were very
But
good.
yeah, but wait a minute here. The power play, right? 0:30, play
Yeah,
was not there. But why we put Adam Ekstrom on the power play?
yeah,
Right? He's not
yeah.
going to be a
I
part of the
agree.
Montreal Canadiens next season. We have Jekai, we have Justin
They put
Barron,
them.
we had Kaden
Yeah,
Coley last night.
yeah.
Who else? Miss maybe one.
Uh,
Oh, that's maybe the 3-1 right there. I would just take the
yeah,
three
they
of
were
them,
the main
right?
ones. Yeah,
But for the last 3 games, we only see Adam Ekstrom on unit number 1 power play. I don't get it. It's to evaluate Ekstrom. Why is not going to play for the upcoming season and maybe 2 years when the Montreal Canadiens? Why not to give the chance for Barron, Coley, and Jacky to see really what they look like? Oh, we saw them before, but give them some reps in case if Hudson and
yeah,
Madison get hurt. It's just
yeah.
for me,
Exactly.
those kind of decisions, I don't get it. Why we call up Condora, Luke Tuck, Gignac, and I missed one.
Eh, yeah, I think that was more a byproduct of
Trudeau.
what had happened in the previous game, and there was more concern about would this turn out to be sort of a carbon
Mr.
copy
Enortap,
of the
wait a minute.
previous game or not,
Condora,
right? I'm not saying that
Condora,
that's
how many
right.
fights
Yeah,
he has in NHL and American Hockey League?
I don't
Gignac
think
is
it's not about the
5'10".
fighting. It's not about the fighting. It's about making sure that your stars aren't on. So you kind of have your sacrificial lamb, and
So the last game,
Condota
Mr.
was called
Enortap,
back up.
the last game, Tavares, Manor, Matthews, Nylander, Morgan Riley is on the lineup for Toronto Maple Leaf. Why in Montreal
Right.
we don't use no players? Why the Nashville Predators send Senkos, Marchessault, O'Reilly Friday night, and suddenly Senkos play again? Why other
Again,
teams use their star, their best players, and us we don't do that? Like I don't.
well, not all of them. Not all of them, coach. Not all the teams started all their players, their
McKinnon
star
played that
players.
last game.
Yeah, but we haven't seen much of McDavid. We haven't seen much of Draisaitl. We haven't
But
seen
Suzuki,
Hyman.
Suzuki did not play game number 2.
Right.
At least you
Well,
dress them at the last game of the preseason to be ready for the season. But not in
yeah. There's
Montreal. Not in
there's two
Montreal.
things. Again, it's about the length of the preseason games. Number one, right? I think I truly believe it should not exceed three, because what that does is it forces you to play more of your starters and give them the reps that you want. And number two, I mean, they should reconsider the whole issue of who they're playing. I mean, the fact that they played Toronto twice and then they played Ottawa twice. Well, that's two of their biggest rivals. Boston exempt right now, and so what happened in the previous games? Toronto the first game and then Ottawa the first game. It dictated what they had to do the second game, and that's unfortunate because it degenerated into something that wasn't hockey, really, in my eyes. You can talk about the code and standing up for the team. I get that, but if you're looking at the exhibition games from a professional a developmental perspective, we didn't see that. I agree with that part.
I don't know. We'll be interesting what it's going to look like for upcoming week. And maybe we are all wrong. So, Martin we said, we don't need to have preseason game. We just be ready for Monday and Wednesday, be ready. And again, it's just like, it's really a strange while training camp. That's my point of view about that.
It is. It is.
That's what I see that. We never see that before in the past. So that's what shocking a bit. And then they have some lack of the quality players of both teams, and then a lack of the power play for the Montreal Canadiens. And will be interesting. Now, the disappointment or the impressive, Mr. Tap, I'll give you three names for the disappointment where you feel like they is not reached, have a great camp. Who are they?
Let's see. I would say Anderson. I didn't see much from him. Let me think. I thought Primo was not great. That was a bit of a disappointment as well. And I mean, I'm not going to include anybody from the first time because, as we just finished saying, we didn't see enough of them. We saw again. I don't want to. Joel Armia. I mean, he does this all the time, right? He starts off slow and then he picks it up at certain points and then he's off again and then he picks it up again. So I'm not worried about that. I would say I'd have to say Newhook as well. I was expecting a little bit more from Newhook and I didn't see it. And I think that's a byproduct of him, not playing in the right chair right now. So I would say those three guys.
So I'm sorry again. Repeat again, just the three names.
Yeah, Anderson, I would say. I would say Newhook and probably Primo. And you can even say Montebol to a certain extent. Dobesh was really the only one that impressed me of the three goalies.
Yeah. So first of all, Josh Anderson, I agree with you. For the guy have to bounce back, for a player need to a little bit like forgive what happened last season. He did not have a great training camp. He did not go around the board, go through the wall on different ways with the Montreal. Yes, he have a goal the first game. Again, a great pass at Joshua Roy, right? But overall, he does not have a good camp. I was expect a lot for him. So show everyone I'm ready this year. Lack
Yeah.
of the World Pack mentality when the line A get hurt, Mr. Tap. He was on the ice, no reaction for him. I know he's quick. At least he should show. He fight a little bit later, but it was too late for me, in my opinion. After that, we see him maybe one or two more games. He did not do performing very well overall. Training camp, understand that. But if a player have to give a lot for his team to bounce back, and what he talk about, he's ready. He studied the game. I did not see that kind of.
He's still on his honeymoon. I get that.
Yeah, but you have other girlfriend. No, I'm just kidding. But that's a subject one at a time. It's not that. My 2nd point is Alex Newhook.
Yeah.
Alex Newhook have a difficult camp also. Expectation was a bit higher. He did not take advantage of that for the Montreal Canadiens to set up his top 6. Now, I understand, play with strong players, but his last game, it was not there, and he suffered about that game. Number 3, Mr. Enortap, I will say to you, I know you said he have okay. I understand he have the most points for the Montreal Canadiens, but Joshua Roy. Joshua Roy, I was expect him more. And
Yeah.
it's not a kind of player is I like, but again, in my opinion, he has an opportunity. He have a chance after the injury of Patrick Laine to step up. Say, you know what, this is going to be my spot for the upcoming season. Play top 6. He did not take that opportunity, in my opinion. You have a couple of flash left and right, but not good enough, in my opinion. This is a player need. Listen, nothing is guaranteed in NHL. That remember me, Mr. Tap, Cole Zellinger, and I have a conversation with Roy yesterday about that. Zellinger have a great first year in NHL. He show up, Mr. Tap. He was one of the only players in that draft year make the Columbus Blue Jacket. Second year, Senegal show up at the camp, American Hockey League. Look what happened with Ken Johnson last year. A good first year,
Yeah,
back with there. Look what happened with RHP. A good second half with Montreal. Look what happened to him last season. My opinion, White did not give enough to prove to tell me right now he's a top six. He's going to be a automatically there, but not because of the rewards. It's because Montreal Canadiens not many other choice, and they're
default.
going to get a bottom six right now with Joshua Roy. And for me, Roy and Devorak, Mr. Tap, it's not work. It's not work. In my opinion, I don't see that. And now, if you put
Yeah, I
Anderson,
agree.
I don't see that. So that's something you have to a little bit figure out something else about Joshua Roy. I think they are there. Might the other player. You have a couple of players have a bad game, everything like that. But again, I'm not going to jumping on any other
Right.
players
Yeah, I
for that.
agree.
For the goaltending, Mr. Tap, I think they start very well. In my opinion, I think the Primo, Montembeau, and Tobesh, the first shutdown, they have zero goal the first two games. They gave 2 goals back to back against Toronto Maple Leafs. So they gave only 4 goals in the first 4 games. And then they're struggling the last 2 games against Ottawa Senator. Both goaltender um, could make more save. I think the game just split Montembeau and Primo together against the Toronto Maple Leafs. They lost 2-1 in Montreal. Both them
Yeah,
got beat on the right side against the blocker. I
weak
think they will
shot.
make that save over there. I think I was, again, two players have a good job right now for the upcoming season to be ready more. The time we tell us, I think I didn't like that. But the most impressed for me are Oliver Kapanen, J.D. Strobel, and Jacob Tobesh. They are my three players
Yeah.
the most impressed with the Montreal Canadiens at the training camp. Tobesh,
So we
every time
agree.
they use him, he's the guy still the game for the Montreal Canadiens at the training camp. Have a good performance at the first game. He have a save average of 0.957, but I think he shows something. He leave the building with a good card for the Montreal Canadiens. If they need a backup goalie, I think Tobesh could get it's good.
Yeah,
Jalen
yeah,
Swabble, listen,
very good.
he took the spot, in my opinion, of Jacky, like defenseman number 6 at the third pairing right now. He had better camp for any other defenseman below Lane Hudson. Yes, we don't see a lot of Savard Madison. I can understand that. But it was, for me, it was very good for Jalen Swabble. He did a lot of good things on the ice. And finally, Oliver Kapanen, I always said, guys, I know, I follow him. I was impressed because he performed. Like I mentioned to you, he did not play in NHL overall. But I think compared for any rookies, Montreal Canadiens, you can slightly bit a bit about Alex Barry-Boulet,
Well, that's
but I think Kapanen is step up for other young players for the Montreal Canadiens. Um, they were at 2 goals, but it's, you know, at the end, for me, I have to go with Oliver Kapanen.
and that's the way you have to look at it, coach. You want to see it would have been great, obviously, if he had greater added responsibilities. I totally understand that, and used in more situations. But at least the time that he got, he didn't hurt the team, and he was obviously very. I thought he was very professional in the way he approached the game. I thought he was consistent. He was looking always to go to the net when we're playing a very much of a perimeter type of game overall. Like that part was a bit disappointing because it seems like a replay of last year. And that's one area that they have to improve in. They have to get more action inside, down the middle. The power play has to change, and I think it will once Hudson is sort of quarterbacking it. I think he brings a little bit more creativity and not just that drop pass as soon as they enter the zone. So, uh, yeah, to sum it up, I think they're forced right now. If we look at who's going to make the team, they're forced to go with probably 7 defensemen and 14 forwards. I would say probably Pizzetta is your number 13, and I would probably go with oh man, probably either. depending on how they form their lines, but probably Barre Boulet as the number 14, and Kappen and Waugh will be on there on some line. Um, I just hope they don't put Anderson on the second line, because that would be very harmful for Doc.
Yeah, I'm sorry about that. For that one, I'm going to move on for the next couple of things we talk about the Montreal Canadiens tonight. A lot of people in the chat, thanks to be with us tonight for the Montreal Canadiens. Gal, if you tell me right now, Dobesh, you don't have a good training camp, if you think he's
Oh,
not
good.
better at Montembeau Primo, Gal, completely disagree. He's the only goaler. I've only gave 2 goals.
Yeah,
Like the guy show up.
and made some great saves.
So it's not about the number. It's not about the number. It's about the performance. That's what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about the number. I'm talking about the performance. He had a very solid game. The first game he played, and then he saved all the. He gave any goal, and then again the Toronto Maple Leafs they lost 2-1. He was the He was the star of the game. So I don't know what
Yeah, absolutely.
you're talking about that way, but I just disagree with you about that. Montreal Canadiens guys, which player are you the most concerned about for the upcoming season? Now you have a specific player you said I'm concerned for the Montreal Canadiens for the beginning of the season. You think I don't know. I don't feel good about him. So which one you think you can name two if you want to? But what do you feel about him?
Yeah, yeah. You want to look at the forwards first, Coach?
Yeah, anything.
Okay, so I mean, with the forwards, again, I wouldn't say concerned as much as we still need to do evaluating on, and that's Kirby Doc. I think we need to make sure that he's going to be the center, or possibly even a winger. I don't mind if he goes on the wing, but I think the reason they got him is to play center behind Suzuki. So we have to see if he can A, stay healthy, B, can produce sort of at the clip that he did a couple years ago, and possibly even a little bit better. The unfortunate thing is obviously the line A injury, Coach, because it really puts him in a situation where he's working with other players that maybe shouldn't be on that second line. And I'm thinking, like, right now, I think just by default you might have Newhook on that second line, and possibly, we'll see, but possibly Joshua Roy may be on that second line. And I don't think either one of those two wingers should be on the second line. I think they're playing a little bit too high, in my opinion. So that is going to make it a little bit more difficult to get a true evaluation of what Doc can do. Um, in terms of other players that I'm concerned about, I mean, we talked about Anderson. I think he's on a very short leash now. Uh, uh, um, I think they've been very patient with him, and they haven't seen the progression that they originally anticipated. I get that he's been through a lot of things, from injuries to, last year there was even hint at some difficulties that he was going through as well, uh, but he refused some guidance on that. So at this point, he has to produce. Otherwise, I think that they're going to try to trade him. I don't know what value he'll have on the market. It won't be very much at this stage, because other GMs, of course, will see that as well. Now, if we look at the defense, Coach, or maybe let's start backtrack. Even though Dobesh was obviously the best goaltender in the exhibition games, I don't see him starting here right now. I think it's pretty much 100% that you're going to have both Montembeau and Primo that are going to be your number one and two. And barring an injury, that's the route to go. With the defense, I think you're going to see Matheson with Gooley. You're going to see Savard with Hudson. And the third pairing will probably, boy, it'll probably end up being Jack Eye with Barron, but Barron gets it because of default in the sense that he's the right-handed defenseman.
You think Shaka a
I
better Cam at Barron?
Than Barron, probably not from the perspective of his his skills on the defensive side, and I get that. And I think Struble had the best of the three of them and should probably be there. I think he's earned himself a spot, which probably means that Logan Mailloux will start in Laval in my eyes. So I think just Barron gets that because he's on the right side, and you have nobody else on that side right now, and you're already playing Gooley, who should be on his left, on there, and Mailloux might be the first call up if anything happens, but I just don't see him starting on the team right now.
Yeah, the most concern for me is Josh Anderson, honestly. Um,
Yeah,
Josh Anderson for line is not helping the Montreal Canadiens. They have another great camp. I think this is the one that people are I agree with that part. A couple of other players, but I think Josh Anderson is my biggest concern for the Montreal Canadiens right now. Now he said, yeah, but he's not top six. But for me, this is where I expect, for the bounce back Montreal Canadiens. So it will be interesting what he look like, Anderson.
Coach? What do you think will be the matchups defensively, the pairings, and
I'm
who's your
getting there.
seventh
So
defenseman? Okay,
it's coming
okay,
right there. So I'm going to get there for that one. The next one is on top is look like Montreal Canadiens did not put any player on the waiver today.
all
And the
right,
reason I said this is a little bit strange for me because you want to put the players when you have a ton of players and the NHL. Like you don't wait for only a specific day and then you have only five of them. If you have like 30, 36 players on the waiver, possible you players slide between and nobody draft them, right? And not claim them. So for me, the way they did today, that gave me Pesada, Barron, and Alex Barry Bullet are in for the Montreal Canadiens.
hmm
Like they they
agreed.
they are in for the upcoming season. So for Wednesday or the tomorrow one, they're going to release the players on that one. So uh, it was a little bit interesting to hear that for Alex Barry Boulet, but there are no much danger for Barron and Pesada. And the reason I mentioned this is because they are the three players with Mr. Tap with no exam waiver. So I just want to sharing that part
Yeah.
over there. Said that, Mr. Tap is I tried to pick up hold on. I hear said that. Now three players
hmm
are waiver exempt. Kapanen and Eman Mayu. Now, Kapanen, we know he's going to be in Temura or he's going to be with the Montreal Canadiens. This is where I know we shrink the spot with the Montreal Canadiens. I don't know if it's going to be a 14 forward. I don't know if it's going to be a 8 defenseman. We're still waiting. But in my opinion, I think you're going to go 14 and 8. For what I just
Yeah.
mentioned to you, with Barry Boulet in the lineup now,
hmm
with Pesela in the lineup, that's give them 13 forward. Now we have to look about the 14th forward and the one for the Montreal Canadiens. So what do you think is going to be the Montreal Canadiens or not?
I think I think Heineman is probably, even though he didn't have a bad camp at all, but because he's waiver. Well, I don't know. No, he might not be waiver exempt, but Mayu is. So I think Mayu goes down. I think Kapanen stays. I think Heineman goes down as well, Coach. I think that they're gonna keep somebody with a little bit more experience in Alex Barre-Boulet. Together with I think Roy will stay as well. Again, not because he had a great um, training camp and exhibition games, but because of default right now, he fits into either that third line or he might be pushed up to the second. So I think of those three players, Kapanen stays, the other two go down.
Yeah, I just want to clarify because people say, yeah, but Strabo, Roy, I understand, guys, but for me, they are already inside the Montreal Canadian lineup. So that's the reason I did not talk about them on that
Yeah.
subject, about this one over there. No doubt in my mind, Logan Mayu's start with Laval Rocket. At least they go with 8 defensemen. But I don't see Montreal Canadiens help to scratch 2 defensemen per game.
Right.
So I think that
You're
would
right.
be something they
7.
have to change, right?
Yeah, I think they're going 7 defensemen in my eyes and 14 forwards.
Yes. Now it's going to be between Kapanen and Eneman. Eneman have some
He's
spark
he's
left and
waiver
right.
exempt, right? Is he not waiver exempt, Henneman?
Is a waiver exam again, 1 more year.
Yeah, so I'm pretty sure he's the one that's going to find his way to Laval.
Yeah. PLW, him, he said he's going to send. Yeah, guys, Jekai is. Guys, I know who are waiver exam, but do you think they're going to send Jekai and Laval? Do you think
No,
they're going to send Jalen Strobel and Laval? I don't think so. This is the reason it's not there. I'm talking about the
no,
player are not going to be with the Montreal Canadiens roster. Whatever they are waiver exam or they are not waiver exam, I think the last spot is going to be between Kapanen, Eneman, and Mayu. If you're thinking Jekai, Roy, and Strobel are not part of the Montreal Canadiens roster, that's okay. You're right. They are waiver exam. But I would be shocked to keep Mayu over Strobel. I'll be
yeah,
shocked they keep Roy over Eneman. I'll be shocked they keep Eneman over Roy. So, point de vue is a 3 spot right there. I think at the end it's going to be Kapanen versus Eneman, and Mayu's going to be a Laval.
yeah.
The
I
only
agree.
thing with Kapanen is like, where do you put him? As a winger?
Who, Kapanen? Yeah,
Yeah.
I think you have to. I think you have to.
Now, he's not going to be on the second line. He's not going to be on the third line. You have to put him on the 4th line.
No, Kapanen, you can't. You can't put him on the 4th line, coach. I think the 4th line will probably end up being
Yeah, but where do
Anderson
you
with.
put him? Where do you put
I
him?
think. Uh, well, it depends who's gonna be out of your 14 forwards, right? Like whoever's sitting out those 2 games. Okay, Petzetta more than likely will be one of the people out, and so I don't know. Do you sit Joshua Roy? That would destroy his development. You don't do that. Maybe Barre Boulet. At least he's been around and can handle that. That might not be so bad sitting him. I mean, ideally, Josh Anderson doesn't belong, but I don't see any scenario where they're going to sit him just based on the fact that he hasn't produced because it's a big price tag that he carries with him, and I don't know. You're taking chances messing with his head even more than where he's at. So I don't see that happening. I see their second line more than likely will probably be Kirby Doc, flanked by Newhook on one side, and possibly either Kapanen or Joshua Roy.
On the second line?
And yeah, who are you going to put on there? Armia?
Armia? You cannot put a
Mm.
Kapanen, never play in NHL on second line. It's a
No,
Swiss.
I know it's not a good situation to be in. I totally understand that. It's not good. I think your third line, you're looking probably at Dvorak and Gallagher, and if Armia's not on the second line, he's going to be on that line, or Kapanen is on there. One of the two, right? I think you have to try both of them out and see
But now
which
where do
one.
you put Joshua Roy?
Now, Joshua Roy, that's the whole issue. If you sit him, that's not good for his development. If you put him on the 4th line, I think that's also counter to his development because he shouldn't be on that line, playing with Jake Evans and either Barre Boulet or in the other case Josh Anderson. I think that kind of will stifle him. He needs the opportunity to play with better players along the way. And so it's going to be interesting. Like I'm more curious who they're going to sit, because that's going to dictate who plays on which line of the other three players. Like Pizzetta for sure, I see as the 13th man, but the 14th, I don't know. Are they going to do a rotation perhaps? I mean, that might be a possibility.
Yeah, possible
What
on
what,
that one.
what do you think? What
Well,
would you go with your second line?
Armia, Armia, Dak New Hook. Third line,
Yeah,
I keep Roy with Devorak and Gallagher or Anderson.
right.
On my point of view, I would put Gallagher, but I think he would sacrifice Gallagher for one at the beginning, and then he would put Gallagher on the front line with Jake Evan and Michael Pesada against Toronto Wednesday night. That would be
Oh, against Toronto, yeah, yeah.
that would be my point of view about that. The extra player would be Kapanen, extra players, and I missed one. I don't know which one.
Pizzetta.
No,
Well, Pizzetta probably he might start that or the Toronto game.
yeah,
It'll be interesting. I mean, you might see the two rookies sitting out, both Roy and Kapanen,
yeah.
or
The only players he can put outside is really Element and Laval. I don't think so. PLW said they need to send three players in Laval. I don't know why.
no, no. That's only if they go with 13 forwards.
One, two, three, four, five, six, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15. You remove Lane and you remove RHP. That give me 13.
Right.
If you add Kapanen, that's give
Did you
them
include?
14. So I don't know. PLW said they have to remove three players because I have Barry Boulet, Pesada, Roy, Sakoski, Evans, Newhook, Doc, Armia, Devorak, Anderson, that's 10, Gallagher, Caulfield, Suzuki, that's 13. I put Kapanen 14, and Eamon to Laval. So I don't know PL.
Well, the ones you're going to send down more than likely are Heineman, Mayu, and Engstrom. I think those are the three.
Ekstrom, yes.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
But it's not going to be easy coming up with those lines, the second, third, and fourth line, coach, because the fit is not there, and that's the only part that's disappointing, and how that line A injury really sort of comes into play now, and it's highlighted. Because if he had been there, I think it's a lot easier to sort of keep Newhook with the two of them, Doc and Line, and then things would have felt a little bit more logically for the third and fourth line. But as it stands right now, it's it's going to be whoever wants to step up. I think somebody's got to step up. If they don't, we're looking at a bad start to the year.
yeah. 1 point for Slicky. He said they had to fix it, Lane and Price. So expect possible Hudson, Jekai sent to Laval for just to be under the
Yeah,
salary cap. Don't panic
right.
with that. They're going to call back them. There'll be maybe one of them or both of them. Depends how they're going to turn around about that. So about this. So other people said are a little bit concerned. Put him and the Montreal Canadiens lineup. Would be interesting what he look like. But again, this is honestly what we think about that for that. Next thing is on the tap, Montreal Canadiens. Uh, Michael
Prospects.
Edge and Evan Dimitar. I want to talk about this before we move on with the Montreal Canadiens roster again. Michael Edge, first goal, and NC, what a great goal. Have a great weekend.
Yeah,
1 goal, 3 assists. All the 3 assists are primary assists. The red apple. You can see the replay there. Look the feint right there, and go over the stick and put the puck on the top shell. A W for Michigan. Saturday, lost the
Mhm.
first game. It was his first NHL game, NHL NCAA game with Michigan. Again, that great pass right there, and then he have a goal, and that would give us his 4 point on the weekend. Good stuff for Michael Edge. Logan Sawyer have 2 points on the weekend. Sawyer played his first game in NCAA, but it was exhibition game, Mr. Altap, for Sawyer, Logan
And
Sawyer. And then we have
look at him
Sam
go to the
Harris
net.
with Denver have 2 goals for Denver University. Sam Harris had the best prospect for the Montreal Canadiens during the weekend. They have a couple like Madelstad have 1 assist. Thorpe have 2 assists Friday night. So I just give you a little bit more about the Montreal prospect. If Montreal don't have a training camp, some other players. Evan Demidov. Evan
Mhm.
Demidov.
Ooh,
Evan Demidov, Mr. Enortap. First of all, last game, it was yesterday. The SK lost 5-4, I believe. And Dimitrov played 3 minutes and 32 seconds. I will repeat, 3 minutes and 32 seconds.
unbelievable.
With only 5 shifts. His last shift, it was during the second period. Did not see any ice during the third period. The game prior to that, when he beat the Dynamo 3-0, he played 4 minutes and 9 seconds or 7 seconds, 6 shifts. He did not see the ice at the middle of the second game, after the game, all the way to the end. Did not play on the third period again that game. And the game prior that, Mr. Tap, have an amazing, great first period, a good start second period. Then he got a penalty for tripping. And that would give the full goal against the SKA, and they lost 4-3. But again, the return was too far to bounce back, and the game is not up. But my point of view of that, Dimitrov, because that penalty, everything fall apart with the coach after that. He benched him during the third period. He sent him on the ice for the 1 minute 20 seconds, tried to come back to score a goal, but it was not happening. But this is the treatment of Rittenberg with Evan Dimitrov at this moment and KHL. Rookie of the
Yeah,
year,
it's
rookie of the month in September. And now you can see now the Montreal Canadiens fans are upset about this. I watched all the game. It's hard to watching a player when they play only 5 shifts per game. You have to be boring at some point. I was
yeah.
lucky. Devil Saber was playing at the same time, so I was switching back and forth. But this is the situation. What's next? It looked like they sent maybe loan a Kravakin, I believe his last name, and that opened a spot for Dimitrov. I'm not sure what it would be, but it was the 13th forward the last game. It was on the 4 line. They used 13th forward on the lineup each game at KHL. Like I said, play only 5 minutes. Will be now. They can send him in VHL if they have to, or they can loan him. What they can loan? I don't think so. They can loan because he's on final year
No,
contract. I think that's the rule in KHL. But still, Ken Hughes going to be pay attention. If he stay in KHL,
he
I
has
think
to.
Ken Hughes not going to do anything. But if ever they send him to VHL, that would be very interesting about that. You have another story behind Rottenberg, the coach. He got a job by the dad of Demidov. That's I don't want to go deep, but they have some kind of story behind everything. So I don't know Dimitrov play more minutes before because he got a job by the end of the day. This is a situation. I don't know if you want to add something about that.
Well, it's a team that needs scoring, and they're sitting their best scorer. I mean, to me, it defies total logic. I get it. They're probably not very much invested in seeing his development. Undergoing the proper procedure because they know that he won't be there beyond this year. But I mean, there should be a sense of responsibility on their behalf as well. I mean, I'm sure that eventually, when he's playing in the NHL, and if and when this whole world situation is hopefully cleared up and Russia's back in international competition, he's going to be one of the first that gets called up. So that speaks volumes in terms of what he really is versus how they're treating him right now. I agree. I think if he doesn't stay where he is right now, I think that the management in Montreal is going to look at every avenue and pursue every door to try to get him here as soon as possible, because the last thing you want to do is have him go through a full year where he's not going through the type of development that he truly needs and deserves. It's unfortunate that it's like this, but I mean, that's part of the situation when you don't have a direct pipeline to a player's development, coach. It's unfortunate, but it is what it is right now.
Yeah, I agree with you about that one. Would be interesting. I think Ken you said a couple of weeks ago, if ever he go down, we're going to we're going to figure out something else. We have to figure out something else. They want him to develop in KHL, right? Not to game. You
Yeah,
have to panic about that situation, and but that's something um, we have to look about the next couple of days about that. And of course, I following everything about the Midab since the beginning of the season. So,
yeah.
so it will be interesting to see that what it will be look like for Montreal Canadiens. Now we're going to be back with other subject, Mr. Antoine, we want to talk about tonight. And we are about at the end of the show. Thanks for all the likes. If you don't mind, we try to reach 50 likes. If you can push a little bit more. Alan Vayanko, welcome back in the house, by the way, with Irene and the mother-in-law, Mr. Tap. He is right there. I think we answered to his question. Mr. Tap, I'm not going to
Yes,
make a
sir.
lot of friends tonight, Mr. Tap. Again, it's okay. I have you as a friend, so that's enough for me. Anyhow, Mr. Tap, defenseman, Montreal Canadiens.
Yeah.
This is my biggest red flag for the upcoming season. This is where I'm really, really, really concerned. We talk about Josh Anderson concern as a team. Montreal Canadian guys. Lane Hudson as the defenseman number 4, right?
Hmm.
And to put Jakai as a sixth pairing, the sixth defenseman on the third pairing. This is a defenseman. If you are Mr. Tap on the best team in NHL, the top 10, is going to have a difficult time to be a part of the lineup. Are you agree or disagree?
Are you talking about Hudson right now or Jacky?
Both of them.
I'm not sure I understand your line
My
of
point of view
thought.
is both of them are right now with the Montreal Canadiens, right?
Yeah. Oh, okay.
But it's because that's what we have. That's all. That's all. With many other teams, Colorado, Florida Panthers, most of the team like that, Mr. Time, they will have a difficult time to be a part of the lineup.
I don't know if I exactly agree with that, Coach. It depends on the teams, right? Like there's a lot of
I just
gaps
said all the
in.
team. I said on the top of the top, right?
Yeah, maybe the top teams in the NHL. I could see that they'd probably be on third pairing. But it's what their roles are with their respective teams, right?
That's what we
I
have.
think
That's
what
the only thing what we have, Mr. Tap. If we have
yeah.
a solid defenseman, a solid defense team, right?
Hmm.
Reinhardson should not be on your top 4 right now at first rookie players
Yeah,
in NHL.
you're thinking he should be on the third pairing and slowly
So they go
progress.
inside the
Yeah,
team and to go there. Does it make
yeah,
sense?
yeah. It makes sense because
All right.
I mean we're talking about the 5-on-5, right? We're not going into the special teams.
That's is coming there. And I could go that way.
Yeah.
Madison is a first pairing. Honestly, it should be on the second pairing.
Yes. Yes.
Laval
Agreed.
is on the top 4. It should be on the third
Shouldn't be.
pairing.
Agreed. Yeah.
All right. So if you look about that, it's not a strong defensive group we have. And if we have an injury, Mr. Notap, that's what we got after that. Jekai, Strabo, and Baron.
Yeah. I don't know if I would say that exactly. I would say they're not paired properly right now. I
But they
think you
are,
have to look at,
Mr. Enortap, they
you have
are
to,
six,
this is,
5, 6, 7. Jekai is
yeah,
trouble in Barron.
right.
All three are not top four and NHL defensemen.
Okay.
So if we have an injury for Savard, Cooley, Madison, we're in trouble.
Yes, yes. I'm looking at it more. I think you're looking at it for this year. I'm looking at it more for down the road. Like when
The
you
road is
have,
not that. That's another story for the road.
because
But
you
talking
have
about this
Mayu,
season,
you
where we
have
are.
Angstrom, you have eventually Reinbacher. So that's where it starts to fill in a little bit more appropriately, the pairings, and you'll start to see better combinations. But you're right. For now, exactly what we have, it's not the ideal spots that they should be in.
That's the point behind that. That's what I feel. And Mayu is not ready yet. Rebecca will be 2 years before he get ready. And we don't know the
Mhm.
development about this one or there. So Montreal Canadiens have a lot of bottom six players. Are you agree with you? With me?
Yeah, yeah.
Montreal Canadiens have a lot defensemen 4, 5, 6, 7. Montreal Canadiens don't have a lot 1 and 2.
And they don't have an appropriate one or two. Yeah, yeah.
So
I'm
if you come
totally
into the
depressed.
upcoming season, Mr. Tap, this is the reality we are.
Yeah.
And the reason is not to be negative, is to try to show to everyone the facts, not to be negative. So if you expect to be in the race, to be in the playoff, or you think you're going to have an amazing great year, or you're going to drop 30, 40, 50 goal against, I'm sorry to disappoint you, but I don't see that right now.
And
Because
that
that's
was our
what we
biggest
got.
concern, right? That was our biggest concern is at the time we thought, okay, I think we can make up some of the goals for this year, but the goals against will be very difficult to chop that down because you're looking at a combination of players that aren't necessarily there. It's in a way, it's very similar to what Seattle's defense looks like. They have six defensemen that are all either second or third pairings. They really don't have a true number one or two there. It's difficult to generate anything from what they have, and the same situation is here. I think that they can address it at some point, but for now, it doesn't look great.
Yeah. I tried to answer to everybody in the chat. Yeah, a lot of chat about that. I know exactly what to do with Albert Jakai. It will be Ab until retire. He will
Oh yeah,
get 10 goals this season.
he could. My only concern is I don't want him necessarily to spend more time off the ice than he does on the ice, and that all comes with the fact that I think the rest of the team has to, without getting into the whole wolf pack mentality, they all have to stand up for each other. It's not just one player or two players that do all the dirty work in that regard. Because being a defenseman, it hurts Montreal every time he's off the ice, right? And it hurts him. It hurts the team, but it hurts also him because he's not getting the development that he needs to be that consistent defenseman that's needed. And with his size, his physicality, and I'm not talking about fighting, but he'd be ideal for when it comes to playoff time and just clearing players out of in front of the net. But if you don't have those reps, you don't have that time to develop that properly, it's not good.
Absolutely. My point of view, Mr. Tab, when I said that, is that's the reality where we are. And that's what we have to
Right.
figure out. It's going to be, like Mark just said, and A2 earlier, it's going to be another year where maybe the expectation, the excitement to see Patrick Laine at the beginning and everything, and now the reality is Montreal is a team is still rebuilding. That's what we forgot. We get so much sometimes excited. And Montreal Canadiens, with a lot of fans, predict this.
The mix. That was the
Like,
dirty word this
some
year.
people said Calder for Lennartson, 50 points. How many defensemen, Mr. Enortap, in the last 20 years have 50 points at the first year in NHL?
Not many. Not many at all.
It's rare. It's
It's one of
rare,
the hardest. It's the hardest position
right? And we
to
expect
sort
in
of adapt in.
Montreal to have Lennartson to get there.
Yeah.
It'll be fun to watch. We'll be excited to watch. I can understand that. Montreal Canadiens are going to be better to watch this year, but the reality, we're still rebuilding for 2 more years. And that's the
Well,
reality, Mr.
I
Tap. Until
yeah,
we clean up the contract.
it's rebuilding. It's also clearing out. The biggest problem is you got to clear out some of those burdensome contracts that you have, and we all know which ones they are. Like some will come due this year, and so you're going to see movement there. You have to wait for Gallagher's to finish off in a couple more years after that. Once you have that out of the way, and hopefully you drafted well, and I think Kent Hughes has been doing a decent job, a very good job actually, of making trades and bringing players over that I don't want to say they're experiments, but he realizes what their ceiling could be, and he's given them that opportunity to reach it. So again, it
Excuse
goes
me.
back to guys. Bless you. To Line A, it goes back to Doc, New Hook. Will they ever reach that level? I mean, time will tell. But right now, it's part of that process that they have to go through. You can't fast forward to where you want to be.
It would be AK talk about enough Joe, enough one with the chair, and the concept is time for a system. I agree. Malakas, he talk about McKenna, yes, and then Supon in 2027 about that. Ozzy Galabo is in the house, Mr. Natap, Ozzy Galabo.
All right.
Uh, and then we have a couple of people talk about Doc, everything like that. Mr. Natap, let me see. I lost my, we are at the end of the show, Mr. Natap. Don't worry, guys, we are back Monday and Tuesday. So we're going to have a lot of time talking about Montreal Canadiens. You guys, you fired the chat tonight. Thanks so much. Don't forget, please, to click on the likes. We're missing a couple to reach 60. Can we extract, take the band and extend the band? Try to get 60.
We can do it. We'll do it.
Other
We'll do
Connect
it.
is in the house, Mr. Tap. Bless you. Alan is in the house. Sebastian number 2 talk about the playoff for the Montreal Canadiens. Montreal Canadiens, week number 1, Mr. Tap. Time for the prediction of the week because I'm not going to see you. And then we do the weekly report every week, Mr. Tap. We do a prediction of the week like we did
Yeah.
last season. So I would like to ask you, Mr. Tap, Toronto Wednesday, Boston Thursday, and Saturday, the Ottawa Senator. How many points you believe the Montreal Canadiens are going to do for the week?
Given that we played Toronto twice, we played Ottawa twice. I mean, it's kind of ironic that we start off the season not only with those two rivalries, but also the Boston one. Talk about opening the season in a tough manner. It's going to be tough, obviously, with these three teams. I do believe, if I had to venture a guess, that we'll probably go. I'm gonna try to be optimistic. I'm gonna go 1-1-1.
Okay, so that give you 3 points. This year going to go, guys, not the record, but more the number, the point will be easier for that
Okay,
one.
3 points.
And after go with 3 points
Three
about that
points.
one. PLW go with that 0 point. Joe Manella go with 2. For Joe Manella, go with 2. Pierre de Noville, welcome back in the house, by the way. I go, Mr. Tap.
I know what you're gonna go with.
I go with 2 points.
I thought so.
I go with 1, but I will go with 2 points on top. Don't be surprised they finish with 0-1-2.
Yeah, yeah, that's possible.
Sébastien go with 4 points. Slick with 3. Gal with 2. RDP, I got you. Luc Lafortune go with 0, mais on top. Roy
Surprise!
go with 1. Pierre Martin go with 3. Jeremy N go with 2. Mais on we have a lot of people. I'm impressed with the team. Bonne saison. Bonne saison. Bonne saison. Clifford. Yeah, would be interesting what they look like for sure. For that, Gisèle Framboise go with 3, by the way. So a lot of positions on top for the upcoming. Have wins coming from that side. Andy go with 2. And Pierre
I'll be
Denorville go
happy with
with.
the 3.
I'm sorry?
If we get the 3 points, I'll be very happy.
Pierre Denorville go with 3. So, a lot of optimism, a lot of disappointment for this one. I got you, Mr. Terrible W, about that. So that I'm funny because I got the fan working and my sheet moving to another one about that. So that's what the preview for the Montreal Canadiens on tap for the upcoming week. Maybe tell us before we leave the building what your expectation overall. Not only the number of the point, but what could be a good week for the Montreal Canadiens? What do you feel about the Montreal Canadiens or a specific game, whatever it is?
Well, I think it's about consistency, Coach. Like I said, it's not a lot of it is the writing is on the wall in terms of the season and how it'll go. Now, having said that, lots of things can happen in the NHL. You know, some of the teams that are above us could experience some injuries or setbacks that you never anticipate. You know, i.e., New Jersey last year when they fell to where they did. Um, Having said that, I think again we have to realize that it's not an easy process for Montreal to go through. That's what a rebuild's all about. It's not done in 2 or 3 years. It takes time. I think we're doing a lot of good things along the way, but it's slow, and you know, slow and steady wins the race in the end. And I think that's what we have to look forward to. I would venture to say let's look at pieces of the team this year and see where there are further gaps to address. Do certain players develop to the level that we want to see them getting at? I'm talking about guys like it could be both goaltenders, some of the defensemen, looking at the forwards. You know, how does Roy play out in all of this? Does Kapanen make it through the whole year? Anderson, of course, we spoke at length about that. There's a lot of question marks, and that's how you know that you're not quite a team that's ready to compete at the level of making the playoffs yet. But do we show continual improvement? We have over the last 2.5 years to the stage that we're at now. If you look at it from a statistical point of view, if you look at it from a developmental point of view, we've seen some players excel and gotten themselves in good positions, and I think that they can still continue to reach a higher level. So we'll see. The power play, penalty kill. I mean, how many times do we have to say it? It has to improve, has to be at a level where we're talking about a collective percentage of anywhere around 110 to 115 when you put the two numbers together. Otherwise, you're not in that mix, as they say. So, a lot of things to look at this year, Coach.
Yeah, a lot of great point you mentioned to you. Mark Elliott is the only one, Mr. Tap, at 6 points, and nobody took 5 points. A few
Wow.
are 4 points, 3 point, 2 point, 1 point is 0 point. But getting there, we're almost at 60 guys. Maybe someone can put another like. That'd be great. If you don't mind about that. Mr.
Hit that
Octave, I
like.
think you said that. I think for me, two things this week. The consistency of the Montreal Canadiens. I want to work hard every single game, right,
Mhm.
and not give up. So I not get destroyed. So I want to be sure they are close to the game, right, every game, and then to see what it would be the outcome of the 3 game versus what they did during the training camp. So not pressure for Martin Saint Louis yet, but
It's getting there.
is going to get there. And I think the Montreal Canadiens fans are a little bit starting to be a little bit more tired of the
Impatient.
rebuilding, or
Impatient. Impatient.
yeah, exactly, less patient. But I think it's the wrong way. I think we have to wait one more year, Mr. Tap, before we see a dramatic change inside the roster for Montreal Canadiens. And this year is about development, it's about improvement, and on every asset of the game, system, power play, PK, and all the players for the Montreal Canadiens. So again, those information we're going to talk about tomorrow night, Mr. Tap, the roster of the Montreal Canadiens, the 23 players, and what it will look like for the upcoming season. We'll see maybe who is going to call up for the Montreal Canadiens. We're going to talk about this, which going to be the line for the beginning of the game on Wednesday, the first game. Finally, Tuesday, Mr. Tap, we're going to talk about a preview of the Montreal Canadiens season with a prediction, projection, and then, Mr. Tap, you're going to be with me on that night on the Montreal Canadiens. So, thank Mr. Tap. We have a lot of great people in the chat, Mr. Tap. They did it.
The best.
Over 60 like guy. We cannot be more happy about this. What a great night, Mr. Tap, the Sunday night with the weekly report together. A lot of people come here, talk about Montreal Canadiens with all the respect, fun opinion. It's no matter. The only thing we like here, we are all friends and we love hockey. That's the most important thing. Not necessarily Montreal Canadiens. It could be any other team, but we like to sharing our own opinion. And that's the most what we're looking for as the channel, the Hockey Montreal Canadiens or the Hockey Nation, Mr. Tap. But without you, Mr. Tap, it's impossible to set who you are.
You are awesome. You are amazing. You are the best. And remember, you have greatness inside of you.
You know, sometimes we have to be thankful and grateful. And for not only for me, Mr. Tap, and I know for many people in that chat, they are really grateful and thankful to having you inside of the Hockey Nation family, because that's what you are with Hockey Nation. You bring so many great things, not only about hockey, but also as a human being. And I think that's the most important things we get from you. And that's what, for me, always a pleasure to working with you every time I see you beside me.
Ditto, Coach.
Thanks so much,
Ditto.
Mr. Tap, for what you bring on the table.
Thank you.
All the Montreal Canadian fans, be well, be healthy, and find a way not dominate the first half of the season of the Montreal Canadiens, Mr. Tap, or find a way to dominate the season. What, Mr. Tap?
2024.
And 25, Mr. Tap, on Montreal Canadiens. What a great night we got tonight, Mr. Tap. I can't wait to see you Tuesday night for another Montreal Canadiens show. Talking about the Montreal Canadiens. And of course, we wish everybody a great week. This is what we want to be at the beginning of the first week in NHL, Mr. Enortap. I can't wait to see the first game Tuesday night. 3 games on the program, a triple header in NHL, following by Montreal Canadiens Wednesday night, Thursday, and Saturday. Mr. Enortap. We wish you an amazing, great week, a great night, Mr. Enortap. I wish you Tuesday night.
Thank you, Coach. Good night, Hockey Nation. Good night, Coach. Always a pleasure.
You're welcome. Have a good night.
Good night.
Here we go, ladies and gentlemen. That's conclude the show tonight on the great Sunday night of the weekly report of the Montreal Canadiens. It was a great time to be together. I just make my day better when I see each one of you. I have a lot of new faces pop up tonight. Thanks so much. Don't forget to click on the likes. And then I will see you tomorrow night, 8:30 p.m. and come back talking about your Montreal Canadiens. Thanks again to be with us. And have an amazing, great night. The Hockey Nation, I should have Nation, want to tell you one thing. We love you, friends. Oh, 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 oh. Booyah!